Hello everyone! In this section, we'll discuss about if, elif, and else statements that are used for decision making. This is program flow in general and allows us to have logic in our applications and execute a section of code only when some criteria are met. Let's suppose we have some sort of booking application for airline tickets and the application tests the balance of a bank account, and only if that value is greater than the price of the ticket, it will continue the booking process, reserve the seats, and so on. Control flow in Python makes use of colons and indentation. Indentation is crucial for Python and sets it apart from other programming languages. In fact, it makes Python code more readable. In other programming languages, we use curly braces to define blocks of code, but here in Python we use indentation. The standard for indentation is 4 spaces. It isn't a syntax error if you use a tab instead of 4 spaces, but it's not recommended. PEP 8 recommends using only spaces for indentation. In fact, many Python IDEs like PyCharm or Sublime replace a tab with 4 spaces, so in fact when you press on tab, it will insert 4 spaces. So this is the syntax of a basic if, elif, else statement. Here, if, elif, and else are Python language keywords, and some condition is usually some sort of comparison operation we saw in the first part of this course. Basically, the above code says something like this. If some condition is true, so the first condition, execute only this piece of code. If the first condition is evaluated to false, test the second condition. It's very important to know that the second condition will be tested only if the first condition has been evaluated to false. If the second condition is true, execute only that block of code. But if it's false, execute the block of code that comes after the else statement or keyword. So this program will execute only a block of code. The block of code that comes after the if statement, the block of code that comes after the elif statement, or the block of code that comes after the else statement. So only one block of code. Note that we can have only one if statement. It's not mandatory to always have an elif and else statements. You should also know that those colons are mandatory and indicate that an indented block of code follows. But let's see better some examples. We'll use PyCharm to take advantage of autocompletion and other advanced features it has. Of course, you can write your code in Python idle, Notepad, or any other Python IDE. I'll define a variable called price equals 100 and balance equals 90. This is an account balance. If this is a Python keyword, and now the test condition or the comparison operation. Balance greater than or equal to price, colon. This is also a keyword and specifies that a new block of code follows. As you can see, PyCharm already indented this line of code. So it inserted here 4 spaces. And here I'm printing a message. I'm going to use an F string. We've discussed about F strings at string operations in a previous lecture. So F from F string. You can buy this product and your new balance will be, and here I am using a replacement field. So between curly braces, I have balance minus price. Now it's waiting for the next line of this block of code. but this block of code has only one line. So I'll press on backspace and I'll write from the same level as the if keyword, else, enter. The next line of code is indented and I'll print insufficient funds. Please deposit, and between curly braces, this is only a placeholder, price minus balance. And here I must use an F, an upper or lowercase f, because this is an F string. That's enough. Now I'll run the script. As you can see, it has displayed insufficient funds. Please deposit 10. What happened? The first condition has been evaluated to false because balance is 90 and 90 is not greater than or equal to 100. So it executed the block of code below the else statement. But if the price is 50, in this case, this condition will be evaluated to true. 90 is greater than or equal to 50. It will print you can buy this product and your new balance will be 40. So 90 minus 50. Let's run the script. And this is the result. Exactly what we've expected. Now, if I delete these 4 spaces, I'll get an error. So this is an error. Indentation error. Expected an indented block. And I'll press on tab. By default, PyCharm inserts 4 spaces for a tab. Let's see another example. Answer equals input of do you want to continue? Enter yes or no. Let's suppose we have an application and we need the user input. And now if, and the first test condition is answer equals yes, if the user entered yes. And I print a message. We'll move on. I am using single quotes inside single quotes, so I'll use a backslash here to escape this single quote. Otherwise, I'll get an error. Or I can use single quotes inside double quotes. Elif, this is the second condition. Answer equals no. So if the user answered no, and the message will be will stop. And else, print invalid answer. What will happen when I run the script? First, the script will stop and it will wait for the user input. The user will enter a string, and that string that is stored in the answer variable will be evaluated to the yes string. So if answer is equal to yes, it will print this message. If answer isn't equal to yes, it will evaluate this condition. If this condition is true, so if answer is equal to no, it will print will stop and the script will exit. It won't execute this line. But if answer is not equal to no, so this condition is evaluated to false, it will execute this line of code. As a conclusion, we can say that our script will execute a single line of code based on the result of the if or elif conditions. I run the script. It's asking for my input, let's say yes, and it has displayed will move on. Let's run the script again. I'll enter no, and he displayed will stop. One more time, and let's enter XXX. And it displayed invalid answer. Of course, we can have more lines of code here as long as they use the same indentation. So here, let's say x equals 7, print x. This is okay. But if I use another indentation, so for example, I'll try to use here only 2 spaces, I'll get an error. We can see how PyCharm has already underlined in red. We have a syntax error because I've used the wrong indentation here. So 1, 2, 4 spaces, and that's okay. Another improvement here would be to make the answer case insensitive. Python is case sensitive. So for example, if the user enters yes with an uppercase letter, it will display invalid answer, and that's because the first condition is evaluated to false. We can simply solve this problem by using a string function, and that function is lower. So answer, this is a string, dot lower equals yes. That means that if the user enters yes with uppercase letters or only with an uppercase Y letter, it will convert that string to lowercase letters, and then it will compare to the yes string written with lowercase letters. And we need to do the same for the Elif statement. So answer.lower. I'll run the script one more time and I'll enter yes. Even if I've used mixed lower and uppercase letters, the condition has been evaluated to true and it displayed will move on. This is a nice example where you can use string functions about which we've discussed in the previous lecture. Okay, that's the basics of if, elif and else statements, and I hope they are straightforward to you. They are used in any application to execute simple or complex tasks.